we both can shine. Enjoy the fruits of our labors over vases of wine. That shit sounds so sublime, but it's about that time. We have a platform to formulate this plan's design with deep money.
Welcome to the Follow D Money podcast, recorded here in beautiful Broad Ripple, Indiana, at the Round Table Recording Company. Today's guest, former state police officer.
Yeah, 21 years.
21 years.
Yep.
Now professional comedian.
Yeah.
And podcaster, fellow Brotherhood of Podcasters.
Yes. Yeah.
One half of the Guns Blazing podcast with my friend and his friend Sean Latham.
Yeah.
Mr. Todd McComas.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is awesome.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, Sean warned me, like, this place is going to make you feel bad about your studio. And it does, man. I want to redo everything right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could come here and record, too.
I know. I might do that.
Yeah,
when I get some money back in my account after COVID's over, then, yeah.
Since you brought up COVID,
Uh-huh.
what did you learn most about 2020? Like, what did you learn most about yourself in 2020?
Man, I think that, to value things that are important to you more.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so much got taken away from me, and I still consider myself fortunate. I didn't lose any family members,
Oh, wow.
any of that.
Good.
So, and that happened to people, right?
Yep.
Just for me personally, like, financially was a huge hit.
Right.
I had just gone out on my own, leaving the Pat McAfee show with a very comfortable living,
Yeah.
and then went on my own just to be full-time stand-up. Got a good 2.5 month run, and I'm like, this is the most
So
money
you
I've ever
did
made
that
in my
before
life.
COVID?
Yeah.
Dang.
I was on my way, man. I was like, I'm going to be rich. Look at this. And then, bam, COVID hit. And this, slowly my savings just kept dwindling. But to me, money's no big deal. I have
Right.
been broke. I have had money.
Yeah.
Like, it comes and goes, and it's not really that important to me.
Yeah.
The only thing that's important to me is that I'm surrounded by the people I want to be surrounded by, and I'm doing, what I want to be doing for a living.
Yes.
And so now I think I just enjoy, or I value more than ever, be your own creative person.
Right.
Like, I worked for a really big sports show for a while. I was a cop a long time before that, but now I'm right where I want to be. Like, I'm
Okay.
creating my own content, and that suits me and truly who I am on the inside.
Yep.
To me, that's being rich, man. And I get to do it with my brother, Sean Latham. And I'm making documentaries now.
Dope.
With my brother, Stuart Huff. Like, this is truly who I am, finally. And that was my biggest takeaway. It's like, it doesn't matter how much you're making
Yep.
off of anything. It's all about, are you passionate and happy about what you're putting out to the universe?
That's dope.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you, how would you define success? But you pretty much
That's it.
You just
If
did.
You're working
Yeah.
with who you want,
Yep.
and you're making exactly the content that you want,
Yep.
then that's success to me.
That's what's up.
Yep.
Yeah. So moving forward, what are you expecting out of 2021?
2021. It's weird, man, because during COVID, I just threw out to make a fishing analogy, I just threw a bunch of lures in the water. Boom,
Yep.
boom. Let's see if something bites,
Yeah.
Because the more I get out there, the more chance I got of catching something. And now it's like all my lures are getting bites.
Ooh.
I got a fish on every line, and I'm like, oh shit, this is almost too much at one time.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of, I'm 75% through my first documentary. And then I've got another one that we're prepping right now to get the pitch deck ready to submit for funding and all that stuff. And then I'm helping on 2 others that are happening with this group out of Australia.
Wow.
And then I'm touring with the cast of Tiger King. Live
What?
tour. Yeah. I'm the onstage moderator for this live show with the cast of
gonna be
Tiger
dope.
King, telling behind the scenes stories you didn't get to see or hear during the documentary. And I have my own podcast, 1041, the true crime podcast, and Guns Blazing with Sean. So, and then stand up is coming back. So I'm like, that was a mouthful right there. I have all that going on at the same time now, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to pick and choose. Oh, and cornhole. I left cornhole out.
Yep.
Sean and I are
Can't forget that.
professional cornhole commentators now. So it's wild.
We were just talking about airmail.
Yeah. Oh, I love cornhole so much. But it's I'm getting to do exactly what I want, and I'm going to have to focus and narrow things down from where I'm at right now. But it'll happen. It's just a good place to be in,
Yeah.
I've had a year ago I had way more money than I do now, but I'm happier now, weirdly enough.
That's crazy. So you're rich, and you know what I mean?
In
like,
my opinion,
you don't have to
yeah.
have money to be rich.
No,
not at all.
not at all.
And that's I mean, that's important that you can find that peace
Yeah.
without as much money.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
and
some people sometimes seek money for happiness.
they do, and I
Yeah.
tell people all the time. I'm like yeah, because a lot of young people listen to our shit, right?
Yeah.
So they're always asking for advice. You know, like they're getting out of college and they're getting their feet wet in their first career choice.
Yeah.
And my advice always is, make a list for yourself, things that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be like literally bowling. Let's say you're just really into bowling or whatever. That's one of your passions in life. You know what? You got time. You're young. You don't have to make your money yet.
Right.
Why don't you find a job that has something to do with bowling and see where you can take it from there? Even if it's working in a bowling alley, managing a bowling alley or something, that might work into 6, 7, 8 years from now, you opening your own bowling alley.
Yeah.
And you will be way happier than if you took this engineering job at this factory,
Right.
doing quality control or whatever.
Right.
And that's my advice for everybody.
Yeah, that's good advice too, though.
Because if you start too young and you get a big money job, it's easy to get stuck in that lifestyle where you got to make that much money forever.
Right. And you hating it every day.
Hating it.
Going every day.
Yeah.
And you can sit up here and do a podcast and love it.
Yes.
You love going to work. You
Yes.
love doing documentaries.
Yeah.
Love touring the country with the Tiger King.
Yeah.
I want to see. I want to see that.
I'll send you a link to the first show or something, man. But it's coming around. We got like 14 dates in the
That
books.
is
We got to go to Canada for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is nuts. 2020, I want to ask you about a few things that were really big. The first one is cancel culture.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about cancel culture? Like, what's the problem with it? What do you, if you like it, why? I think this past week, Dr. Seuss was canceled.
Right.
Or well, people say that Dr. Seuss was canceled, but 6 books were canceled.
Right.
And Dr. Seuss wrote, at last I checked, 4 million books.
A lot of books.
Right. He wrote a lot of books.
One time, when you're in elementary school and they have that Readathon or whatever it is, and it's like you get people to sign up. Oh, I'll give you $10 for every book you read or whatever. I think I was in 4th grade.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand the rules. I whipped out like 24 Dr. Seuss books. I didn't know they were supposed to be real books. And I went to school and everybody was like, "You're a liar. You didn't read 24 books." I'm like, "Yes, I did." 1 fish, 2 fish, 3, whatever. And they're like, "No, it's cheating. You had to read real books." But here's what I think about cancel culture. Like, you say something racist.
Yep.
You say something that's I don't know, discriminatory by someone's religion or any other of these categories.
Yep.
Canceled, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Had your chance.
Yeah.
You're not going to get on social media and do that because we can't have it anymore.
Right.
Now, it's gone too far.
Right.
There's all this soft interpretation of, what it takes to be canceled. And everybody has a voice now. Used to, back in the 50s or whatever, when there was one particular senator, I don't remember his name. If he labeled you a communist, you were done. Your life was over. If you were an entertainer in show business, you were an actor or whatever, you were done.
What to call it? J. Edgar Hoover was trying to make everybody a communist, wasn't he?
Yeah. And all it took was that one accusation.
Yeah.
Boom. It didn't matter if you were a communist or not.
Yeah,
your career was
that's
over.
That's when they came up with the term blacklisted.
Yes.
Yeah. They were blacklisted.
And now I'm afraid, like, it's happening to entertainers now that haven't even had a fair shake. Yeah, what you're accusing them of, they might have done. But right now, you took what one person said.
Right.
And you ran with it, and now you're trying to cancel this person.
See, I think the big thing with cancel culture is we should everybody gets caught up in the name of the process. Like Black Lives Matter, nobody likes the title, but they say they care, but they don't like that it's called Black Lives Matter. Cancel culture is really, it should be called accountability culture.
Yeah,
because you're held accountable for your actions. Okay. So if somebody says something racist, in my opinion, they have every right to redeem themselves.
Okay.
You don't have to cancel somebody because they said some racist shit 10 years ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if that person right now was fighting for equality, he is a champion for equality. That is a person that has redeemed themselves.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like we're so busy trying to cancel people because we're trying to prove how woke we are.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but no, like we should be trying to educate people who had those pasts and acknowledging people who have changed.
Yeah. And I tell you, I'm so anti-censorship.
Yeah.
Like I just can't who's the crazy guy goes on Rogan every now and then and
which one?
Spouts all kinds of conspiracy shit.
The UFO guy?
No. Anyway, he's God, I can't believe I can't think of his name right now. But they kicked him off of Twitter, kicked him off Facebook, and now he just runs his own site. But he did the thing. He said the bad shit about the Sandy Hook parents.
Oh,
and
yeah, I know you're talking. I don't know.
Basically,
I don't know his name. Yeah, I know you're talking
Alex
about
Jones. Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. Yeah.
I'm a person who believes
something wars.
He's allowed to get on there and say whatever he wants on his platform.
Yep.
Right? Now, what I like about that is even if you say something, let's say you say something racist, now I know who you are.
Correct.
Now I can make an educated decision that I don't want to listen to you.
Correct.
And I will just not consume any of your shit.
Yeah.
Now that's the good part about not censoring, right? Otherwise they can stay closeted.
Yeah.
And they will because they know I got to keep myself in check.
Yeah.
To keep my platform going.
Yeah.
I almost would rather you be able to be honest so I know who you really are.
I mean, personally, I'm that way.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah. I like people to show me who they are because a lot of people have their feelings on the inside, but they'll be smiling in my face.
Yeah.
You know, that's
if you want to put a rebel flag from your roof, fly it so I know not to let my kids trick or treat there.
Correct.
You know?
That's exactly how I am. And I mean, I hate the flag. So I have a kind of a total. So when I said accountability culture, I think that applies to individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we go to symbols of hate, like things like the rebel flag, that is an actual symbol that means oppression and racism, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like it has a chance to fix it.
Right.
So I am for canceling something that is a symbol of hate.
Yeah, I am too. Like,
you know what I mean? Like
the fact that it's, and I say, fly it from your house so I know. I'm not talking about like government buildings and public places. Like those statues have to come down. Right. Those flags cannot be flown. Right. You know what I mean? Like, and the people that argue against that, I'm like, what are you doing?
I'm a little confused with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost hate speech just being against it.
Well, if we look at it as a people called patriots, okay? So patriots say that it is a part of our history. But if you were in war with another country and you were the country that won, you don't have the losing side mounted everywhere. You don't have monuments for who you've beaten and who you've become. Like we defeated one side to show that we felt we were right in what we were doing. We defeated evil. But it's a part of our history that they want to embrace. And, I mean, I just don't understand.
It would be like if you went to Germany right now and there was all kinds of Nazi stuff everywhere. Right. You're like, oh, hey, whoa. Yeah. Wait a minute.
Well, that's how it is. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand how that. I mean, I don't understand how people back that. Like, they really feel like that is part of our culture.
Yeah, and it's not. We are not what we were then as a country. There were people like here, obviously, that were dragged here. First of all, this wasn't their country, and then anyone who lived in oppression through there, it wasn't their country. It was your country. Yeah, and that's not what we are now. Right. So, are we erasing history? Trying. You know what I mean? Right. Like at one point, they're like, well, our kids need to know. You learn from the past. Yes, but they need to know that absolutely there will be nothing positive anywhere in existence in any way honoring that lifestyle or that culture.
Right. I agree.
And so it's just a stupid argument, in my opinion.
It is. So okay, so we talked about cancel culture. Another big topic was policing.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of opinions about that. And you watched my episode with Chris Wilburn.
Yes.
And the difference between you two were you were state police and he was IMPD.
Yeah. And I'm white. He's black.
And
that's a big difference.
That is a big difference.
Yeah.
You are white. He is black. There's a different.
I'm like Larry Bird white. I mean, come on.
You are Indiana Larry Bird. You are.
Yeah.
but there are layers to that also. I mean, because in any institution, there is still levels of racism, no matter how you look at it.
Right.
So I'm going to say this. So a lot of people. So I say that I support defund the police, but I 100% support police. 100%. Like I love police. I love the police. I need them.
Right.
You know, I always have. Right. And I'm from LA.
Yeah.
So it's easy for me to not like them.
Right.
but I love police officers, and I have been wronged by police officers.
Sure.
But it doesn't jade my perception of them. You know what I'm saying?
You're judging that officer as an individual.
That person
not as a class,
was horrible. Those people were horrible who I've had contact with in those situations. But we talked about defund police with Chris, and I just want to know, what is your take, and how do you think we can improve community relationships with police?
Yeah, man, I am totally for the restructuring and the reallocation of resources, money. I hate the word defunding.
Right. Yeah.
Because I feel like the media created it on purpose because it's a volatile word.
Yeah.
So if you're anti-police, you're like, yes, defund. That's a punishment.
Right.
You know,
right.
Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
It's time. We're punishing them. And then the pro-police people are like, well, defunding is not even the right word. Right. So I wish they would call it something else, because defund, like, to me means you're taking away money. And that's not necessarily what's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, in fact, in some areas you're going to spend more money.
Right.
So I think the program is in the direction they're going. Everything's correct. It's just that stupid label that I have a problem with.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people have a problem with. Now I can look past it.
Yeah.
But I wish for other people that they would come up with a better word.
Right.
Because the whole argument is, okay, now we have police officers that are doing animal control duties.
Yeah.
They're rounding up stray dogs. They're doing social work duties they never had to do before. And the reason they're doing those things is because they defunded animal control back in the day. They defunded social work programs back in the day. So where do you pick up the slack? Oh, let's throw it to the cops. Now, they didn't give the cops any more money.
Right.
Or any more training.
Right.
To handle those things. So you're not defunding those programs by taking them back from the cops. You're just lightening the load a little bit and letting them focus more on things they should be focusing on.
Yep.
And they technically have been defunding police since the early 2000s. Like, I came on in 1995, and that was the height of spending money for a cop. Like, my training, becoming a detective, I got 10 times the training than a detective gets now for the Indiana State Police.
Wow.
I mean, my first 6 months, I didn't even get to go work cases. I was in training constantly.
Wow.
For advanced, like with the interviewing school, then advanced interviewing school, homicide schools, blood spatter analysis, like all these schools just constantly for 6 months. I was like, when do I go be a detective? You know, but they're like, get trained up. And they sent us away I had to ride with a homicide detective with Indianapolis for 2 weeks and all these different specialty units. So I learned I was more well-rounded before I even got started. They don't do that anymore. Now it's like, you're already a cop. You know what to do. Hit it. Start working cases.
Wow.
And a lot is lost there. And then background investigations, man. When I came on state police, you would have thought I was applying to be an astronaut. Like, it was thorough. They were talking to people I'd never listed on my application. They were digging because they had the time to do it. Now, I know this because when I was a regular detective, I had to do background investigations. They'd throw like 4 on your desk and be like, we need these by Friday. It would be Tuesday. And I'm like, but I have like 27 cases I'm in the middle of, you know. I've got an armed robbery that I'm hot and heavy on. Yeah, cool, but I still need those backgrounds done by Friday. Now, how much time am I going to spend exploring you as an applicant to see if you're psychologically fit to be a policeman?
Yeah.
Not much.
Right.
And that's part of what's happened.
Dang.
That's why we're getting these crazy dudes and these crazy girls. It's why the racists are slipping through.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough done. Policing at a local and state level needs to adopt a lot of what's happening and has been happening at the federal level. Pay more, educate and train more, and get a higher quality pool of candidates. Spend more time and effort on the background investigation to make sure that person is a good fit for the job. Because it's not a natural job. Like, we're not built as human beings to do what's expected of us at that job. It's weird. Now, the day-to-day, dealing with people, responding to a domestic dispute, being a mediator, all that stuff, fine, we're built for that. We can be trained for that. It's that thing that happens 1% of the time where you stop a car and you're just going to write a simple ticket and shots get fired at you from inside the vehicle. That is the part we're not prepared for, because what we expect officers to do is to be combat ready, just like a military troop. Now, the difference is there's no rules for them. Once the shooting starts and you're at war and you're at battle, it's you win. That's your only objective. There's no rules really to dictate what you're going to do, other than you can't use mustard gas and shit, right? But it's very animalistic combat.
Right.
And now you're that in the blink of an eye. Now you're in combat. You're an animal right now. Boom, in survival mode, kill or be killed. And then as soon as the shooting stops, you got to de-escalate, turn it off, and be a professional. And treat everybody like a human being. In an instant. If you don't, you're going to lose your job.
But isn't that tough?
It's almost impossible.
Right. So the thing that bothers me is police make officers that I know tell me that they fear that combat situation almost every time they pull somebody over.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you want to know why? Because when you're in the academy, you get pretend killed 4,000 times.
Right. Now, but look at this, though. So I'm a civilian who doesn't have a weapon.
Right.
I don't have a weapon, and I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't, just for sake of scenario. I haven't done anything wrong. But I know you have a gun.
Right.
I know I haven't done anything wrong, and I don't have a gun. But you're also scared.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that is a very dangerous situation for me.
You nailed it, because this is my theory. Like 90,
but I'm supposed to be worried about you. Like I should make sure that you're so comfortable because you're dealing with me. But I'm like, I'm just obeying the law, driving around, being a good guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's not your job to do that. Here's where we're screwing up. So I think 98% of bad things that happen, either the officer going above and beyond what they're allowed to do legally as far as use of force, or acting too quickly and escalating on that use of force continuum, like skipping levels, and going straight to deadly force quicker than they should. 98% of the time happens out of fear and panic on that officer, right?
Right.
Now, here's what we're doing. We're taking 24, 25-year-old people, putting them in a paramilitary academy, and every time they're in training and they're doing scenarios and they stop a car for speeding, somebody jumps out of the trunk and sprays them with rubber bullets. Like, you get pretend killed 4,000 times.
That's crazy.
So now
you're training them.
And part of it is the role players get bored.
Right.
So if you're late in the group, you're really getting killed because they didn't get to kill anybody in the first, group. So now the mistake is when I'm really stop a car and I'm a young officer, I'm just settling in, my legs are shaking. Because last time my mind's eye goes right back to the academy and my training where, oh shit, somebody's gonna pop out of the trunk and shoot me in the back with rubber bullets, except they're gonna be real bullets this time.
Right.
So anytime somebody reaches a little too quickly for the glove box, panic. Oh, my hand goes to my gun and I'm like, stop, get your hands on the wheel, and now you're freaked out. You're like, whoa, wait.
Right.
You got your hand on your gun. And now bad things are going to happen, or at least we increase the chances of bad things happening. We got to start longer training. The academy should be at least twice as long as what it is.
I agree.
And we got to start training them to have human interactions more. It's not always going to be somebody in that trunk trying to kill you.
Yes.
So more emphasis needs to be put on that. Like
de-escalation.
De-escalation is key.
De-escalation.
Everybody wants respect.
Yes.
Even if you're dealing with, and this is what I learned in my long career, and I dealt with the worst of the worst. You know, I was undercover. I had to pretend to be a bad guy, hang out with them. I learned more from that job than anything because 9 out of 10 of those people I could have been friends with in another life.
Wow. That's crazy.
Crime was just their job.
Yep.
It's where they came up.
Yep.
That's why they made the decisions they did.
Wow.
They have same opportunities as me.
Yep.
But we could be boys in another life. So I looked at criminals differently. Yes, you made a mistake. That's how I take it first.
Yeah.
Unless you prove to me otherwise, you're just an evil son of a bitch.
Right.
You just a regular person who made a mistake in life.
Yep.
And you probably didn't have a choice.
Yep.
Now, when I was on the fugitive task force, all we did was hunt down the most violent offenders in Indiana that nobody else could find, like the U.S. Marshals did.
Yep.
And we tracked their cell phones. That's how we'd find them. Even then, if you give that person, that person could have been wanted for murder, an armed robbery, doesn't matter. When you're dealing with that person, if you just allow them a little dignity, because this person that you're dealing with has maybe never been given respect their entire life. They always had to earn it in their mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that may be where they grow up. Earning respect might be, I'm going to hit you in the mouth.
Yep.
If you look at me cross, or I'm going to put a gun in your face.
Yep.
That's how I earn respect around here.
Yep.
No one's ever maybe just blatantly just given it to them because they're another human being that occupies this planet.
Yep.
And when you do that, de-escalation becomes so much easier.
Yeah.
But cops aren't being taught that at a human level in the academy. Maybe it's mentioned, but there's not as much focus put on that as there is tactical training.
Yeah.
It's got to be 50-50.
I've heard recently, just very recently, a friend of mine going through the academy in IMPD now, that they're being taught about the differences in communities and why
that's great.
This community is different. With they even mentioned redlining and all that, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing that they understand why these people are there and have these mentalities.
Yeah,
because a lot of times, and we can talk about de-escalation all day,
right?
Because I think that in certain areas, the police officers come and they want to show that they are powerful and they are in charge of this situation instead of coming in on a de-escalated level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just coming in, like they don't know these people. They just know that they need to fix this situation,
right?
And and either remove somebody or do something like to make it stop, right?
Right.
But they don't treat it like they're walking into their kids' room and do it.
Right.
They walking into a combat situation with two people that they really don't care about.
Brother, you're nailing it. I
mean, know what I'm saying?
That's exactly right.
That's what they're doing. And I'm the community. So I'm seeing that and I'm like, we can do better.
Oh,
and and as much as I want to see change, I'm on the side of the police.
Right.
I'm on their side. I'm wanting them.
The change you want, though, is going to make things better for them, whether they realize it or not.
Yes. And it's just frustrating when I have these conversations and it's kind of like talking to a brick wall.
Yeah. I wish they would involve people that are in my position more in helping to train police, like someone who's retired 3 or 4 years removed, who had respect when they were working.
Yeah.
But now they've been a civilian for 3 or 4 years. So my mind's different than it was when I first retired, right? Or at least 2 or 3 years before I retired.
Yep.
So here's the thing. When you show up and you're the police, that person's done something that means they have to go to jail. You're going to win. It's almost like I have a couple friends fight. One fights for Bellator now and used to fight in UFC. The other used to fight in UFC a lot. I've seen those guys at bars when people pipe off to them. They don't pipe off back. They're like, whatever, dog. All right.
They already know. They already know.
I'll win.
Right.
Right. Well, that's how, if you could just convince cops, like, you're going to win, man.
Yep.
You don't have to chest up and bellow back and escalate the situation.
Yeah.
Just sit back. Let's just be cool. There's no reason for us to be hot about it.
Yep.
Give them a little bit of dignity. And I guarantee you 99% of the time they grab it.
Yeah. I'm not saying that they need to just be like out like punching bags. I'm not saying
Sure.
that. Like I
Mhm.
think that it's best if the people are respectable for the people coming to handle their situation.
Right.
It's best.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not a job where you can choose
Oh.
the situation and how nice people are to you.
Dude,
You know
I've
what I
seen.
mean?
So I've gone through doors with so many cops where I see like the mom's home. She's there too.
Yeah.
It's just the fugitive is her son.
Yep.
And he lives upstairs in the bedroom.
Yep.
But when they go through that house, it's like get the fuck on the floor, get the fuck, and they got a gun on mom. How about coming in, keep yourself safe, but like, ma'am, I know this sucks right now, but we need to focus on what we're doing. Will you please just sit down on the ground real quick and
Yep.
stay with this officer,
Yep.
and then go up.
Yeah.
Like that changed everything, right?
Yeah.
There. He don't want to hear you, scaring his mom.
Right.
That's going to escalate him.
Yeah.
And she doesn't need to experience that. That's
Yeah.
her boy. And if you realize that, like, that's somebody's son I'm going up there to grab, and that's his mom right there.
Yeah.
This is her worst day.
Yeah.
This is her worst day.
Yeah.
And I've been thrown in the middle of it. Here's how I judge success for someone that had a law enforcement career or who is an active police officer. If you want to know how well you're doing at that job, just ask yourself, is this scene better for me having been there than it was before I got there?
Okay. That's good.
If it got worse, I'm not doing my job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely times where shit gets bad and you're going to be forced to do things that aren't natural.
Yep.
You're going to have to fight. You're going to have to shoot.
Yep.
That just happens. But in the absence of that, if you didn't make things better for having been there, that doesn't mean somebody doesn't go to jail.
Yep.
That means if another cop would have been there and it would have been chaos and people's feelings would have got hurt and things. If you don't feel like you prevented that from happening, you're not doing your job.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good way to gauge it.
Yeah.
But that's what you're supposed to do, though.
I know,
that's
but
their
it's
job.
they get caught up on the tactical and Johnny, gung ho, and
Yeah.
there's too much emphasis put on that. And I think you were going to see that though change in academies. A lot of more psychological work put into it.
Yeah.
A lot of more focus on, the human aspect of policing.
Yeah. One thing I think personally, I'm not a cop, and that's another thing that when I have these conversations, they're like, "You're not a cop," and I'm like, "I know, I know."
But you're the other side of the equation right now. This is a two-sided
and the
equation.
thing is, like, I am a proponent, but whenever you challenge the status quo, you're an enemy to some people. Like whenever you challenge it,
Sure.
they just don't want you to change the good thing that they got going.
Yeah.
But like for me, I think a big thing is more psychological evaluations.
Yes.
Like you shouldn't have to be in a traumatic event to be going through those evaluations often, because you guys see crazy shit all the time, no matter what.
Oh, and it's helpful. It's healthy to do that. It improves your mental health. Like I have PTSD.
Yeah.
Everybody I know that did anything insignificant wise in law enforcement has PTSD.
Right.
I've had a person try to kill me. I've had guns in my face. I've had to fight. I've seen horrible shit. Like and just being an undercover and you're scared to death every time.
Right.
You don't show it.
Yep.
But every time you're like, man, I seen Training Day. This when the dude takes me to the bathtub and says, like it's about to happen. I can tell, that happens every time you make a drug buy.
Yep.
And you're not supposed to experience that roller coaster ride.
Right.
So you end up with this level of hypervigilance you got to live with the rest of your life. And it can be tough to manage. But if you constantly, like once a year, got a mental health checkup.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk, and take this test and then let's talk for a minute afterward. How you feeling?
Yep.
You're going to be better off for it. And you're going to weed out people that are really having problems that could cause something bad to happen on the street to somebody who doesn't deserve it.
True. Very true.
And sometimes, there's times where, say, this police officer is going through a divorce right now. They're broke as shit because they're in a custody battle. Maybe they found out their spouse was cheating on, like right now they're in the lowest point of their life.
Right.
And now they got to dress up, put on the suit, put that gun on, go out there and do what they're expected to do. Now, how much more volatile is that person? Like, is anybody keeping up and asking questions? Like, hey, you know what, man? I know it might suck, but do me a favor. Let's just work the desks for a
Yep.
couple weeks.
Yep.
You know, you got a lot of going on outside of work. You don't need that coming up at the wrong time.
Yep.
And this is out of love. This ain't out of punishment.
Right.
Like nobody's doing that.
Right.
And how many bad
We don't
events
even
happen because
know
of it?
what's going on in their heads most of the time. I'm
Right.
sure.
Cops are always like, well, I don't know what's going on with that person I just stopped. I don't know. Also, they don't know what's going on in your life, man.
True.
Like this could be you could have right now stopped me on the worst day of your life, and any little thing could set you off.
Dang.
You know, that's just being human,
Yeah.
right? You ever punch a wall out of anger?
Yep.
You know
I
how
have.
stupid that is,
Yep.
but it happens because you're human. And yeah, there's so much that needs to be done, and a lot of it's been ignored. Like from what the community experiences, that's been ignored, and what police officers experience and go through has been ignored. And the combination of that has caused a lot of shit to happen. Now, I'm not talking about, you know, we've seen the racist cops, we've seen the heavy-handed racist cops, we've seen people shoot when they shouldn't, we've seen cops shoot when they shouldn't. Those are individual things that the person needs to go to prison right now and have a longer sentence than a regular person.
Mm-hmm.
There should be an enhancement. Like I'm talking about just the whole, you know, like you are, the big concept of what's going on, the big picture.
Right.
And you know, another thing I feel like is what's being ignored, and I think this is the government taking advantage of how volatile the BLM movement and pro-police, anti-police right now, all that. I think they're taking advantage of it and not having to ever address or be held accountable for socioeconomic oppression.
Yes.
No one's talking about that right now.
Yes.
They're talking about the other thing, which is a smaller issue.
The
grand scale.
socioeconomic oppression is
That's
is,
how
is
much
part of the
harder
reason.
Yes.
That's like the catalyst of all
It's
this.
the cause.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
we're just talking about the effect.
Right.
I mean, the government right now is taking no accountability for the fact that they created entire communities on purpose for minorities to be stuck there
Right.
and not give them any opportunity.
Right. Well, that's what I said. They're
advancement.
actually teaching that in IMPD right now.
And that's
in
beautiful.
the academy, which is amazing to me.
It's amazing.
That is dope. My guy is going through it. He hit me up. He said, Stretch, you won't believe this.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's talking about it. And I'm just like, bro, there have been systems put together to create the divide.
Yes.
They did that on purpose. And then they police those areas different.
Yeah.
Because
That's so
we're-
progressive.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
because like in some of those areas, you got to look at who are the role models,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants status.
Yeah.
So in your community, if you grow up, the only people that have status are the hustlers, the street hustlers,
Yep.
someone who has extra credibility because they've served time
Yeah.
and, you know, they're out robbing and hustling constantly.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be attractive to a lot
Right.
of kids.
Right.
And
It's,
they don't,
it's only one way to get that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that or like be a great athlete or
Yeah.
something.
Well,
you know?
well, I'm talking, but
where's
but
the educational opportunity?
But to get ahead in the hood, like you look at people who have clout,
yes.
and it's only one way to get clout.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like being an athlete is a whole nother tactic of getting out
Sure.
of the hood.
Yeah.
Being smart is another tactic.
Right.
But when you have the separation of these classes
Mhm.
or communities, the education is different.
Yes.
The teaching of how to succeed is different. Like I have conversations all the time about how many things we could do to be successful that doesn't include entertainment.
Right.
But we don't have those kind of conversations where I'm from. We have them here
Mhm.
because these communities are taught literacy, like wealth literacy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they talk about how to handle money, how to make money, how to invest money.
Right.
We don't learn that.
Right.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And when you look at communities like that, you hear even in present day, you hear all the time, especially like what you do, just talking to people and having them on your show, whatever. How many people have you talked to in your life, like present day, that maybe grew up in a community like that, and you hear them say, yeah, I was the first kid in my family to go to college.
Yeah.
Now you go to the north side of where we live right now,
Right.
you're going to hear, yeah, I'm like the first kid to not graduate college in my family. You know, it's such a difference.
Right. It's the opposite. Yeah.
It's like-
you're a black sheep if you didn't get
Yes.
a master's.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
right.
And culturally, I mean, just look at what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
why is this the case? How do we fix it?
Right.
And right now, I feel like that conversation has been put on pause.
Yeah. But I think we have to look at ourselves and what we want to accept as the truth.
Mm-hmm.
We've been trained to accept whatever truth we want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
my big thing I talk about now is I hate the word tradition I hate tradition because tradition is lazy.
Yeah.
You can be real lazy
I love
because if you did it because your daddy did it, you don't have to think at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that.
Get rid of tradition. Like people are bent on I've been doing this for so long that we've always done it.
Yeah.
That's what we've always done. We always sing the national anthem.
Right.
But that don't mean it's right.
Yeah,
It's a tradition. Like it so now that we've done some research on it, it sucks for some people. But you want to keep doing it because your daddy and your grandmama and they mamas did it.
Right.
That's lazy.
Yeah, and
that's
how do we ever improve? How do we
improve
progress?
if we just accept tradition?
Yeah. I love that. I love that how you put that, because it is nothing but lazy, and it's staying comfortable for you because you're privileged. You're in a privileged
It doesn't
position.
affect you.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I say, like people, like the oppressors only value things when the oppressed fight about it.
I know.
They only care when we don't like it anymore.
Oh yeah, that's the only time, right? And then I look at our world and I'm like, how much are we spending on fucking Space Force right now? Like,
Right.
Can we take half of that and get rid of what's going on and make these lives better for people that are in these socioeconomically oppressed communities?
Right.
Like, we could probably solve the problem. You
Okay.
put a free college in the middle
But
of
it has to be something that you want to do.
Yeah.
For that to be on the table.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that they want to fix right now.
There's not enough decision makers affected by
that care. Yeah. Right. They're not affected yet. As soon as they get affected, things have changed.
Yeah.
But that's funny. That we're not there. Like
No.
people have to care about other people for everybody to have it.
We are so, we are so far away. It seems like, if you look at our world compared to 1950, if you're a minority,
Yeah.
a lot of improvements, but look how still far away we are.
Right.
We have so far to go
Right.
until everyone is thinking in terms of we
Yep.
instead of them
Yeah.
and us,
Yeah.
then nothing gets better.
You're
at
right.
least it's going to be at a snail's pace like it has been.
You're absolutely
I
right.
mean, until you drive through, if you're from the north side of your town and that's the rich area, and you drive through the lower economic area of your town and you don't feel any different when you enter that area
Right.
after midnight
Right.
about the people that live there, then
There's some
we have a long way
change
to
going.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some change when you can do that.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
just,
good.
Just not feeling different about the people is
Right.
all.
Right.
So many people are scared. And I don't know. I just spent so much time there in my career. I'm like, and just dealing with people and hanging out, going to bars and setting up drug deals with those people. Like we're just sitting around shooting the shit. People are people everywhere.
Yeah.
We cause anxiety. We cause our own anxiety. We cause our own reasons for being scared of other people.
Yep.
That live in different areas
Yep.
that come up differently.
Yep.
And it's all made up in our head at a very human level.
Yep.
Everybody's the same. Everybody wants the same
Yep.
shit. And everybody pretty much knows what's right and wrong.
I know.
So, that's why I always feel like sometimes, like if you're a kid who grew up and like me, I didn't grow up with much diversity at all.
Right.
I grew up in the country in Indiana. My dad had one black friend.
Yep.
And he was secretly dating a white woman. This is back early 80s, right?
Yep.
And that guy he was a foreman where my dad worked, the automotive plant. My dad was the production manager.
Yep.
So they worked closely together. And remember Wes Unseld?
Yep.
They're cousins.
Oh, okay.
Ross
Okay.
Unseld. Yeah. So they had to keep that relationship secret.
Wow.
The only place they could hang out as a couple, really, and was they would come to my mom and dad's house.
Dang.
Now I grew up as a kid with Ross and his brother Dave. My dad played a lot of softball, and I was
Yeah.
in the dugout hanging. So I knew those two guys. My only two black people in my life, right,
Yeah.
for a long time. I went to the military almost on purpose. I was like, "There's so much more that I need to know about the world," and I'm pretty fucking undisciplined,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I need
You need
both
to-
of these
you need
things.
some
I need some
discipline.
culture,
Yep.
and I need some discipline. So I joined the Marine Corps, and I think that, be careful with your kids now because war is always going on. It was peacetime then, but you learn so much.
Yeah.
You're locked together with people from all walks of life. all different colors, all different religions, all different belief systems. You know, we had gangbangers in there.
Yep.
We had kids were the first ones to not go to Ivy League school in there.
Wow.
Everybody together having to be brothers and act as one. And that's, you know, places like that, experiences like that really teach you these life lessons about, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're human.
Yeah. That's all
That's
that
all
matters.
that matters. Yeah.
Equality. That's my thing.
Yeah.
I had a great talk.
Dude, I loved it.
I'm glad you came. I mean, we discussed, we text back and forth, and I'm like, I just felt like we became friends. Like,
yeah, man. We need to go have beers.
No, we will. But every time I end my show, I ask a question. Just you're not ready for. And this is the last one of season 1. This is my last one. You're the finale.
I'm the closer.
You're the closer.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, my question to you is, if you were stranded in a deserted place and it was snowing and you were naked, what 2 items would you pick?
Okay, I think I have
So you have to survive for 1 month.
1 month
Alone, and you can only have 2 items. And
2
and you're asshole naked.
Man, I'm gonna have to get like a military e-tool type shovel.
Right.
So
okay.
it's 2 sides. I can dig or I can chop.
Yep.
So I can chop firewood and shit like that. And also I know, because I've been to cold weather warfare training, you can build yourself a little cave
and be warm.
and stay in there, and your body heat will help keep you warm.
Yep.
So that's going to be my goal.
Okay.
Now I'll probably die trying to dig because the ground's going to be frozen. I'm not going to get through with my e-tool, but at least I'll die trying. But and then I think probably like an Arctic snowsuit that I could just wear,
like a
to keep me
you just need a
alive
shovel
long
and a
enough to dig
snowsuit.
my hole. Yeah.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
hard to tell.
And then I'll
Okay.
kill my food and shit. I don't know. I'm pretty aggressive.
All right, good.
I'll chase down a rabbit. I don't care.
I think you'll survive.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming out, Todd.
Yeah, buddy.
And we're gonna go get beers.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for a wonderful season. John, Rambo, Brad, everybody coming out. I think it was a successful season. We had plenty of guests, special guests like yourself, and we will return. Thanks.